So today we're going to be looking at Genspark, which is a brand new Chinese super agent from China, and it is free to access. I've actually created, for example, a website this morning, all customized and tailored to me. You can see the design here, it looks super nice. And this is crazy powerful from what I can see. It's very, very similar to Manus. So we'll be comparing it side by side, but essentially this is kind of like a Manus style universal AI agent that can basically do anything for you. And it has a free version of it. I've just tested out this morning. Like you can see, seems super fast as well. Here's the crazy thing as well. It can like insert images and take your existing website, redesign it, etc. And literally all we said was research student Goldie and create an SEO agency website for him. You can also see on the side here, we have the AI chat, image studio, video generation, deep research, and all agents as well, which we'll come on to in a second. And even created like this crazy South Park style roundup of the recent news. You know, you can play this video down here. It generates a video with a voiceover, pretty crazy stuff. So we're going to get straight into this and I'll show you exactly how it works. So if you want to sign up, it's available at genspark.ai. And then you can see inside the advanced agent section over here, we have this bit where it can just basically work autonomously on your complex tasks. All right. Now, from what I can see, everything is hosted in a virtual environment. So it's not like actively accessing your computer or anything like that, which makes it a bit safer. Particularly, I know some people have, concerns, understandably, about AI agents and how powerful they are. And then you can choose whichever one you want. Now, if you want to just start and create over here, you can just go to home and then inside here just ask anything that you want it to do. So for example, here if we go to me and then we have a look at this chat that we previously generated, you can see the example right here, right? And we can open this up. So we've got this really nice website that we generated, and that is insanely good, right? It's basically just redesigned a better example of my own website. Crazy stuff, right? So it's redesigned the whole site, like you can see. Look at that. Look how nicely designed it is. Now, if we compare that side by side, so I'm just going to close Visual Studio Code here. So if we compare this side by side versus my actual main website, this has created a better version of my main website. And I might just switch them over, to be honest with you. Like, let's compare these side by side. So this is my actual website. And this is the design that came from Genspark. This didn't cost me anything to generate, but the AI agent just researched me and then went off and did its magic. And this is my main site, like you can see right here. Which one looks better? I'm actually going to go with this one, right? You can see here, for example, it's just a bit more interactive. It's got nice animations. This is better than anything I've ever seen designed by Bolt, for example, as well, which is like a custom built code editor. And if we click on like the about section, for example, it creates a really nice example right there. Right. And then what you can also do is you can see here, this is hosted on page.genspark.site. So it's hosted on a custom domain. I would change the image because it's a little bit sort of pixelated right there, but that's my own fault for using a bad image. And again, all we did was say inside Genspark, go off and research this website. Right, pretty crazy stuff. Now, if you've ever used Manus before, you'll know that this is another Chinese AI, right? It's kind of like it connects different APIs and different tools together. I've got a full course in SB inside the AI Profit Boardroom. If you want to see some of my previous creations, let me show you some examples right here. So we actually ran the same prompt with Manus previously, which is, I think it's $200 per month to use the AI from Manus. This is what it came back with, right? Which is not bad. It's not bad at all. Probably still better than the original website that I have. But you see how it's using like basic stock images and there's nothing really customized to me. Now compare that to what we got back from Genspark. Genspark, it's got like nicer colors, nicer, it's actually inserted real images of me, whereas this is kind of like stock images. We've used basically the same prompt. And also you can see here how it's like collected all the information about me and my website and then come up with that right here. It's even come up with like a list of sites that have helped. It's included our pricing right here. It's also added some packages. It's written really nice copy. So you can see here, it's like actually written the copyright on the page. And it's even taken the screenshots from my existing site, researched them, and then said, right, we're going to pop this here, 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 and here, and redesign the main homepage. Pretty amazing, to be honest. So in terms of like quality, I mean, this is crazy, right? In terms of like, AGI and that sort of thing. Let me put this on a chart for you. All right. So if we actually look over here, and let's say, for example, we look at like the autonomy or AGI level, right? If I had to put the Julian Goldie AGI level of tools right here, I'm going to put stuff like, bolt.new down here, right? It's nowhere near what we need to be. And then you've got, for example, like Manus, kind of in the middle here. So it generates something that's not bad, but not great, right? For example, like this website, it's not bad, but is it ready to publish? Probably not, because it's not using like imagery from us. It's not really customized to our business, etc. It's done a bit of research. It's done better than my main website, but it's not done that great. And then you have stuff like Genspark, and Genspark is absolutely insane, right? It can, for example, create videos. It can create better websites than I've designed. It inserts customized images and everything else. Like, this is something absolutely crazy that's on a whole different level right here. It's even taken, for example, the original testimonials from my site and inserted those. Whereas, for example, if we go on to the Manus output, this is just way too basic, right? Comparison. Now, again, Genspark has a free version, so you don't need to pay for this, but you can see the difference in quality. Like, it's absolutely insane. And I think, the way things are going, we're just getting towards agents that are more and more autonomous, right? The more and more AGI level. And is this Genspark output better than something a human can do? Absolutely. Like, are we essentially looking at something that feels and looks like AGI? I would 100% agree. Again, all we did was say, research Julian Goldie and create a website about that, right? And it did its magic, create an agency website for it. If we look at the original output, so let's have a look here. We plug this open. So that's, it just looks really cool, right? Really nice website, nice design, etc. Here's a demo example. So inside this demo brief, they said, create a minute episode of South Park to talk about a news happened last week, draft a typical South Park script. Then, since you can only generate video in 5 seconds, you can use HTML to put all the short clips together and play automatically, right? And it just went off and did it, like you can see right here. Pretty crazy stuff. And then you've got the output right here. Like you can see, you can open that on the subdomain. It's hosted on Genspark, and boom, there you go, right? Absolutely wild how powerful it is. And that's what I'm saying here, folks, is like, I think we're looking at a whole different evolution, a whole different generation of AGI style autonomous agents. Pretty crazy stuff. You can also see here's another example. So this is Agentic deep research. If you want to see an example, I'm just going to show you the pre-made examples because they all take about, I would say, between 20 to 30 minutes to generate. So this is actually a demo that we're using just to show you an example. But if we click on jump to the result over here, we can see the example, and it creates based on the original prompt, which was, I'm doing research on the complex social structures of orcas in the Pacific Northwest. Can you do some detailed agentic for this? It went off, did its magic, and you can see that right there, right? Pretty crazy. It even finds like some nice videos for you. The deep research report is very, very similar to ChatGPT or something like that, but if you've ever seen a ChatGPT deep research report, it doesn't have a nice table of contents on the left, and it's not as nicely formatted. And also, it tends to be like with these deep research tools, like just a big block of text that isn't very useful, right? And the other cool thing here as well is like you can actually chat and ask questions about this particular page, right? So if you're just like, okay, tell me about the impact of noise on orcas, it will take the information from the deep research report and make it interactive on this side, right? So you've got the table of contents over here. Then you've got the deep research report. Then you've got the chat that you can ask it about, and it sources and finds you research and skips straight to the bits that you're interested in. And then you can add follow-ups or just copy the research on the right-hand side. So it's a whole different generation. Now, I can assume that this is probably kind of like a wrapper, again, kind of like Manus, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't think it's its own sort of, I don't think it's its own like sort of, AI. So it's not like it's created the new DeepSeek or something like that, but you can see an example right here. Now, on the free plan, you get 200 free credits per day, so you don't have to pay for this. I've used it today. I built that whole website for free. Didn't cost me anything. And then here's an example of how much it costs. Now, I think Manus is $200 per month. This is $239 per year. Billed annually, you get 10,000 credits a month. You get priority access to all the new agents, so you get Gemini 3.7 Sonnet, etc., access to image generation models, and access to video generation models as well. Pretty amazing. And then this seems to only be able to create 5-second clips inside here. So if you want to generate something that's longer, what you can actually do is inside the generate video section, you can actually say, okay, stitch all of my video clips together in a HTML file so that it plays all the videos together, like you could see in the South Park example that I pulled up earlier. So it's quite different. If we pull these up side by side versus Manus, so we'll get into Manus right here. It's quite different because number one, when I was in the beta testing period, there was like 3 usages per day, sometimes only 1. So that seemed to hit the limits again. And then also, as far as I'm aware, Manus cannot generate videos, whereas, for example, Genspark can. And also, from what I've seen, the outputs in terms of the website that we created previously, for example, that was very, very different to the output of Manus. I showed you those 2 side-by-side comparisons. So totally different game right there. Totally different outputs. Super promising. Would definitely recommend checking out. It's available at Genspark AI if you want to check this stuff out. Let's have a look and see. If we actually type in site:/Genspark AI, you can see there's a bunch of different outputs right here. So if you want to see examples of like what people have created, you can actually go on and type this into Google, type in site:/Genspark.ai, and you can see all the pages and all the outputs right here. Right, so you can see what people have created. Seems like a lot of people in Japan have also been creating stuff as well. I think that's Japanese right here. But it does come out of China originally. And here's an example. So someone's created like a presentation on hypotheses. You can ask in the chat anything about the page. He's done a deep research report. Seems to have created some nice images as well directly in here. And this is just a whole different level of stuff you can create here. The other interesting thing here as well is like you can create a copy of someone's project. So you can copy what other people have done. And then if you go into this section, so if you go into home and you scroll down, you can see all of these different examples that people have been created, right? So for example, if we pull up some of these news headlines right here, we can use that to start generating stuff. And there's some examples of different prompts you can use inside the super agent. So pretty powerful, crazy stuff. I want to test out more, but I had to share that with you. Like that was just an absolute game changer. I'm not seeing anything like this yet. I mean, there are other options like, for example, convergence AI, but from what I've seen, it's not as powerful as this. Like this seems to be on a totally different level. Like look at this. You can actually call people for you, right? So you can say, hey, I'm your phone assistant. I can help you make calls and collect informations. And then it's like, I support calls to the US and Japan, which is pretty wild. I'm not going to click on that because I think you have to be very, very careful about how you use this. This is power on a totally different level, but you can see how it works and how it goes, etc. So you can also like cross-check stuff as well. You can make calls. You've got Agentic deep research, video generation deep research, and all these other agents. Crazy, crazy stuff. What I'll actually do is I'll include a link inside the AI Profit Boardroom with an SOP on exactly how to use this and how it can be done, etc. But yeah, crazy. Wow stuff. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to my community that shows you how to make money and save time with AI, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. This comes with all my best systems and automations on how to make money and save time with AI, including my best social media automations, email, AI agents, web automation and scraping, SEO automation, NA10 templates, and also a crash course with everything in one place, plus all of my best SOPs, right? So if you want to get access to all my latest and best SOPs, including we've already added like 4 in April, you can get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. It also comes with weekly Q&A calls with us. So you can jump on the weekly Q&A calls here, ask any questions you have, and inside the community, you can post in the community, ask questions, and you will get answers right here. So for example, you can see all these questions being posted in the community. People get answers straight away. So this was posted 13 hours ago. People got the questions answered within 13 hours, and we're good to go on that. So feel free to get that link in the comments description. Price is going up at the end of the month, so make sure you sign up now before you miss out. And additionally, if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 business a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales and multiply that, feel free to get that on this free SEO acceleration session. You'll get a custom tailored game plan made for you and your business. If you want to learn how to make money, save time, and get more customers to your website with SEO, feel free to get that. And you can ask any questions one-to-one on this call directly based on what's helped hundreds of our clients, like you can see with all the testimonials right here. Thanks for watching. See what questions we got here. So apps developer, is it better than Manus? We'll come on to that in a second. Manus, want to finish before starting this. Yeah, that's it. And Miss said, wow, this is brutal. I hate Manus. Only one task in a free account is possible. No comment, no comment. Nicholas, we should do meetup in Bangkok. So we actually have, if you want to do meetups, like the best way to do that is in the AI Profit Boardroom. If you join the AI Profit Boardroom, we do like the weekly Q&As in there. And we might do like in-person events at some point as well if there's enough demand for it. But right now, yeah, if you want to jump on the weekly Q&As there, like that's where everyone meets up inside the community. And it's absolutely awesome for just meeting people and connecting inside the community. So, and Nicholas says, I will join. Thanks. And Hyman says, you're killing it, mate. Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much, sir. All right. So what we're going to do next is really compare this side by side versus Manus and just see how it performs. We'll come on to that in a second. If you have any questions whilst we're waiting for that, feel free to ask me and just post inside the comment section here. I can get back to you ASAP, all right? So Theo says, what is your opinion on the cursor's context, even in the process? Honestly, I don't use cursor a lot. And from what I see on my video views, because I can measure, you know, like how many views a video about root code gets versus a video about cursor or bolt.new, etc. From what I see, I think everyone is switching over to root code and Visual Studio Code. I think that's because it's free to use. And also it's awesome for like using free APIs like Gemini 2.5. So I just don't use cursor anymore. Like it's not something that a lot of our audience wants to see when I look at the view counts. And then also from what I can see, people are more interested in other stuff like Visual Studio Code. And Jake says, I think Genspark AI agent is really good. Yeah, from what I can see as well. We'll test it more in a second. But yeah, from what I can see, it's crazy stuff, all right? So let's do this. Let's do the comparison, my friends, all right? We're going to do side by side. Let me get into this and we'll run through an example. I've been in a mix because I'm using this for web development. If you had to give the current stack of AI tools to use to ship products, what would it be as of April 3rd? My favorite is Visual Studio Code, Claude 3.7 Sonnet, and Gemini 2.5 is the best. So I can use it to build, say, a voice AI agent with a few functions such as pitch, converse. If you want a voice AI agent, I would recommend 11 Labs. 11 Labs is the best for this because you can build it out in like 5-10 minutes. We've got a full recipe inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And Wannabe McTow says, I always enjoy your content, always learning something now. You're the real G and hustling content. Appreciate it, man. Thank you very much, sir. All right. So today we are going to be comparing Manus versus this new Chinese AI super agent, which is Genspark.ai, right? Now, I have a free account on Genspark, so I'm not paying for it. It's free to access. And from what I've seen, it is absolutely insane what it can do, right? So let me show you an example of this and how it works. So if we open up this example right here, this is Genspark. And if we pull up this example, we actually created a full SEO agency website, like you can see right here, based on us and who we are, right? So if we pull this up, create a few different versions of the website as well, and it hosted it on a subdomain. So this is a website that it built. Literally all we said was research Julian Goldie and create an SEO agency website for him, and just went off and did its magic, all right? Now this is a very, very clear competitor. I mean, they're both from China, but this is like a clear competitor to Manus. So we'll be comparing them side by side and seeing what we get back. Now, if we want to compare the exact same task, let me show you an example of similar tasks compared to Manus versus Genspark AI to give you an example of, okay, which one creates a better output, right? So if we come on to an example website that we built, All these links are inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to check this stuff out. Okay, and you can see this is an example website that we built with Manus. All right, now it's not bad. It's not bad. So we said just go off, create a website about Julian Goldie, etc., research him, and then create the site. And it's not bad. But if you compare it versus the output from Genspark, the difference is stark. Like the difference in quality of this website from Genspark versus Manus is huge, right? This seems to have created a much better output. You can see the design, the UI is super nice. It's actually created images of me, whereas the Manus output didn't create an image of me at all. And then if we keep scrolling down here, it's even found out our prices. It's written a really long homepage for us. The navigation bar works perfectly, as you can see. And also it has like a book your free SEO strategy section, along with real testimonials from us, right? So these are all actual testimonials from the page, which is insane. So it's just pulled all that information, including our legendary team. So it's found all the pictures of my team, insert that into the web page right here. Whereas if we go onto the Manus page, it's got nothing really about us or our team. Let's go on the about section of Manus and see what we got here. So you can see it doesn't have a real image of us. It has some customized information, but there's no information about me or my team, etc. And from what I can see, like you just get superior outputs directly from Genspark. It's absolutely insane. It's even pulled in, for example, real testimonials from clients that we've worked with, like you can see right here. Crazy stuff. So that's an example. We're going to pull up some more examples right here. And for example, if we go onto Manus LM, so manus.lm, what we want to do is compare the pricing as well. So I believe that both have free plans. Let me pull up. So this is Genspark AI, and we'll go into Manus in a sec as well. All right, so this is Manus. If we check out the pricing here, you can see the pricing. So it's $39 per month for Manus Starter, and you get up to 2 tasks running concurrently, or you get Manus $200 a month. Doesn't seem like they've got a free plan from what I can see inside the pricing section. If we go over to Genspark and then we go over to upgrade plan, we can see how much this costs. So they actually have a free plan with 200 free credits per day, or it's just $24.99 billed monthly, right? So it's actually cheaper than Manus. I'm sure they're aware that their prices are cheaper than Manus as well, which is quite interesting. And this seems a lot more powerful. So, for example, if we go into Manus right here, from what I understand, Manus cannot create videos, right? So if I say to Manus, okay, create a video animation about AI SEO, we'll see if it can do that. Because I believe it's using Claude 3.7 Sonnet, which doesn't seem to be able to create animations, right? Whereas, for example, if we go back to Genspark, we find the example right here. So this is an output from Genspark, which actually created a 19-second long video. Like you can see, you can actually play it right here. You can switch between different styles as well. And it can generate videos based on the latest news. It says a South Park parody of recent news. It creates a video right here. You can play it back, etc. And yeah, it can create videos and then stitch multiple videos together. So actually, what I actually did here is like it created 4 5-second long videos, stitched them together inside of HTML. And yeah, it's crazy how it can do that, right? It can also, for example, like convert YouTube videos into slides. So if we replay this example, it's like, right, here's a YouTube video, make it into 10-page slides, and then it just goes off and does this magic, all right? Whereas if we go into Manus here, I'm going to say, you figure this out, and we'll see if it can actually create videos for us. From what I'm aware, it cannot create video animations. So it's going off and doing its magic. The other thing that I've noticed as well, for example, with Genspark was like, in the space of 15 or 20 minutes, it created this website, right? It was pretty fast when it did that. Whereas Manus can be a little bit slow. You have to go back and forth with it. You see how, for example, here, if I say create a video animation about AI SEO, it's going to ask me loads of questions. And it's quite slow, like going back and forth in the chat, right? It's autonomous, but it still requires some input, right? Whereas, for example, inside Genspark, if you say, okay, research student Goldie, create a website about him, it just goes off and does it, right? And it creates like multiple different versions of that website as well. So we've got one version right here and one version right here as well. So pretty interesting stuff. What they can both do is they can both deploy to subdomains. So for example, here you can open this in a new window and it's hosted on genspark.site, whereas for example, Manus as well will host on genspark.site as well. So that's pretty cool. This is working its magic, but I don't think it's going to be able to create the video directly. We'll see if that works its magic in a second. We've also got, for example, deep research reports. So this is a deep research report from Genspark. It actually creates a really nicely formatted research report. And then you've got the table of contents on the left-hand side, the actual report in the middle, and then you can actually ask it information inside the chat here. So the UI is super nice as well. And then you can create copies of what other people have generated, right? Which is super interesting too. And then you've got all these different styles of stuff you can create. And this is the presentation it came back with. So it took that YouTube video, right? So this was a demo and it said, here's a YouTube video, make it into 10-page slides with sleek design, etc. And it turned that YouTube video into an actual PowerPoint presentation with real images and everything else, right? It's crazy stuff. So that's the original video. It analyzed the video and then summarized it and turned it into a really nice presentation, right? So it's actually quite a cool way to repurpose content. So for example, what I could do is I could go onto my YouTube videos and say, hey, create a blog post about this particular video, and then it would just go off and do its magic, right? Pretty simple and powerful. So it's amazing to see as well what's coming out of, say, something like China versus other Western countries, right? I don't really see these autonomous agents coming out of other countries. Like, for example, there is Convergence AI, but it's nowhere near as powerful as this. Like, Convergence AI is good for, you know, just going on the internet, doing a couple of tasks, doing a bit of research and stuff. But I don't see it being, having the full power of stuff like this, especially because we're using this for free, right? We're using Genspark for free. You can upgrade to the pay plan if you want more credits, but this can do pretty much anything that you want, essentially. The other thing that we can do here, for example, if we generate a website, like we can see right here, we can actually download that and we can export it as a PDF. Or what we can do is, this is one long HTML file, right? So we can actually grab the HTML code here, save that to our laptop, put it in a folder, and then host it on something like Netlify, drag and drop the folder in, and then get that hosted on a subdomain, right? So for example, if you go on the boardroom.com, let me open this up for you. This page right here was actually generated with Manus. And it's a pretty nice landing page right there. And we generated it with Manus directly. So you could do the same sort of thing inside Genspark as well, which is pretty cool. You can also, for example, inside the video generation section here, you can switch between all these different agents. And that's another thing that Manus doesn't seem to have right now. Like, you don't seem to have to switch between APIs, right? So from what I can see, if we go inside the settings, there's no option to switch between API keys and that sort of thing. Whereas if we go inside Genspark here and we go to the video generation section, we can switch between all these different video generators like Kling, Pixverse, Luma Labs, Gemini Veo 2, Hanyan. We can also switch between image to video. So we can, for example, upload an image of myself and then turn that into a video. We can switch between the dimensions on the video, and then also we can choose how long we want it to be for, right? So if you're on the plus plan, you get 5 to 10 seconds. If you're on the normal plan, you get 3 to 5 seconds, all right? And again, like, if you look back at Manus here, it is quite slow when you're going back and forth with it, right? So you can see here how it's still stuck on the create video and script section, despite us like giving the prompt quite a few minutes ago. So it just feels like right now Manus might be due an upgrade. I'm sure they're working on it to improve it, But from what I can see, this is a total step up, side by side. This is super interesting as well. I've never seen this on any other AI, and I've never seen it being this easy. It's quite scary how powerful this is. So there's a call for me section. So you can actually get your AI agent, and I would be careful about using this, especially in the US, for obvious reasons, compliance reasons. But you can say call for me, and then you can say like book a table at Lechon for next Wednesday, right? And you can see here, it's literally done a phone call, right? It's actually made a phone call with Lechon. That's the number. Is created a example right here. You can actually play back the video conversation, and then it's actually booked in that course. It says your table reservation for Alice Johnson's birthday celebration has been secured. The reservation is for 2 people on April 2nd at 6 p.m. And here's the details, right? Which is crazy. I don't know if that's actually real. I haven't tested it. I mean, I would be careful about what you see and that sort of thing. But if that's actually real and that's a genuine conversation, it's scary stuff, right? So if you want it to call for you, you can go to the AI agents here, select one of these super agents who will go with the call for me section, hit plus task, and it supports calls to the US and Canada plus Japan. Click on next, you enter your phone number, you connect it with a verification code, and then you set up the steps and follow it right there. Right? So there's all these different agents, for example, cross-checking, data searching, call for me, Agentic deep research, and Genspark super agents as well. Crazy stuff. Now, if you're wondering, okay, what are the benchmarks like? Side by side. So you got Genspark, Manus, OpenAI Deep Research, and SOTA. So we'll pull this up and I'll show you the tweet from Genspark right here. So you can see the benchmarks here. I always take these benchmarks with a little pinch of salt. So just be careful with this. But you can see here, for example, you got Genspark absolutely leading the pack. Now, this is ridiculous compared to OpenAI Deep Research. So if we look at the Gaia benchmarks here, OpenAI Deep Research, which is seen as one of the leading AI companies in the world, and certainly is, they're falling behind by quite a long way. So they're in like gray over here, and they're scoring like 47% at level 3 versus Genspark, which is 58%. Genspark is 72% versus OpenAI Deep Research is 69%, and they're also beating Manus by a fair way on each of these benchmarks at level 1, 2, and 3. So it's pretty crazy stuff. I think this is going to absolutely blow up. Bear in mind, this has only been announced like literally a few hours ago. Like 24 hours ago, something like that. So definitely check it out. And also, the other thing to note here is like it's got a bunch of tools in here, premium data sets, and also 9 different LLM models built in. Whereas I think Manus was mostly a mixture of Qwen and Claude 3.7 Sonnet. So exciting stuff right here. You can see the benchmarks. You can see how powerful this is. And you should definitely check it out. Right? I can't wait to test more of this. If you just want to see all the examples of what's been created previously, then just go to home and you can click on the examples right here. So you can see these examples. Then if you want to go to your history, you can see all your history inside this section as well. And then if you want to upgrade your plan, just go to the upgrade plan section right here. You can switch between monthly and annually. And yeah, crazy stuff. A lot of people will be saying, oh, this is just a wrapper or something, or this is just a wrapper. But the thing is, like, that's the whole point, right? Because if you would set up that wrapper yourself and to program it and set up all these tools manually, it's so much work. It's so much time. Like even setting up something like OpenManus inside Terminal is a lot of work, and a lot of people struggle with it. Whereas, you can just go into Genspark, you log in, get a free account. Within a minute, you can test it out and try it for yourself, right? There's no other super agent that I've seen that can actually make phone calls for you. Like that is scary. That is scary stuff because you can understand how that could be used and how that could potentially be misused as well. And there's all these examples on the website. So if you go to main, M-A-I-N, funk, F-U-N-C.ai, you'll see all these different examples of like the benchmark, what it can do. So for example, like buying gifts, analyzing earthquake data, coding 3D visualizations of complex maths formulas. So we can replay that. If we jump to the result here, we can actually see the example. I mean, the UI is very, very similar to Manus, let's be honest. Like, I'm sure this has been used as some inspiration, but you can see how smooth that animation is right there if we switch between these, which is pretty crazy. Very, very complex tasks. I think if you want to build like a SaaS tool, for example, like this could be absolutely amazing. And you can see some examples. People might be asking, okay, why does it work better? Well, it's a mixture of different AI agents and tools. You know, you've got different tool sets in-house. It's also got data sets in-house, right? So, for example, like distilling the web, pre-built stuff, that sort of thing. So, thanks for watching. If you want to get all of my best tips, workflows, prompts, AI agents, etc., feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. This is the place where we share all our best systems for really making AI practical, right? There's tons of AI tools out there, but it's hard to figure out, okay, what's the best to use, or how do you use this right now, or what's the best tool set that's working literally this week, because it does change week to week. Then feel free to jump on the live Q&As and post inside the community and take advantage of all the courses inside the classroom as well. The prices are going up for the AI Profit Boardroom at the end of the month, so make sure you sign up now, link in the comments description. And this is focused on just making more money and saving time with AI. So you can see all the different individual courses that we've got. So even if we go to the SOP section here, you can see all these different SOPs that we've got. We're updating it every single day. We've got different courses. So for example, like even just for email and content automation, we have all these videos and different tutorials right here. And also, if you want to get all of my best AI agents, you can get that inside the AI agent section over here. Top of that, inside the community here, you can post inside and just ask our community, the 693 members, any questions you have about AI and how it works, etc. Right? I mean, people are blown away by Manus. Wait till they check out Genspark, because this is a totally different level of AI agents. I mean, it's called a super agent. I would agree. Like it's wild. I mean, an AI agent that can just go off and make phone calls for you, that's scary stuff. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visitors a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot, feel free to get that on this free link building acceleration session. You'll get a custom tailored SEO game plan to generate more lead sales and profits from Google to your website. So if you want higher profit margins, if you want tons of customers, if you want to generate customers on autopilot, feel free to get the free SEO strategy session. You can ask any questions live on the call. All right. And this is based on how we've 10x our SEO clients traffic, like you can see from all the testimonials right here. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. Let's see what questions we got. Whoa, voice agent. Yep, scary stuff. Okay, buddy. What if Julian himself is an AI, the real AGI? I mean, check out my weekly news roundups if you want to see the AI version of me. And Yusuf says he's an AI SEO agent. How'd you do it? Bro, do you sleep? I get at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep every day. Usually 9 hours, to be honest. Like, that's how I have so much energy. And is Genspark doing good against Manus? I think we've already run through that today. Genspark zero shot capability. Yeah, that's the other thing, is like, this is a word I'm hearing more and more often, but zero shot is big, right? Like, if you can just go, boom, here's my idea, go off and do that, this actually does it. So yeah, pretty amazing. All right. And I don't know where this is going. All right. Hyman says, I wonder where, what happens when there's going to be another innovation. I don't know what happens in 6 months or 12 months, right? Because you look at something like Genspark and you think, wow, that is better than a lot of virtual assistants that I've hired in the past, right? It can code, it can do research, it can create images, it can create videos, it can analyze YouTube videos and then turn that into a beautiful report. It can make phone calls for you, and it just goes off and figures it out, right? What else can do that in the world? Absolutely amazing. So feel free to get the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.